on the path on which we have undertaken.
All right, staying with our budget coverage, the IT industry wants the finance minister to work towards creating an enabling environment for startups. Speaking to Mini Menon, representatives from NASSCOM, Cisco and Capgemini said that the government should work towards streamlining laws and regulations. Here's a slice of that conversation.
I think, being very clear about the policies and the regulations, I think that's one thing. The second thing will be to give incentives and not penalties. I think, if there is a penalty for not manufacturing, then it'll actually be a negative, we will actually pull away, right? But if there is an incentive, such as develop this particular zone and there's a benefit for doing that, I think that's the second thing we would look for. I think the third thing is execution. I think seeing some real proof points. I think they've picked some cities or model towns we want to digitize. I think actually showing that these pilots can be scalable and this is real and this time it's going to be actionable and executionable. Those would be the three things. Salih?
I think from my perspective, the most critical thing for the government to do is to start to work on a few of these areas in much smaller chunks right now. Because a part of this waiting, which is perceived outside, is that they're trying to cover too many things all at once. Second, I think from a private company perspective, there are already players, state-level players, that are moving. So move with them. And there's, I would say, for all practical purposes, a smooth working equation there. The third thing, maybe on your point earlier on manufacturing, really work on the skills area. That to me is going to be critical for the country as a whole to do something with it. And we need a lot of work on that.
Okay, I'll let you have the last word. You're sitting on this side as the NASSCOM president. This is the budget season. Every industry association has a long list of what the government should do. What do you want the government to do, the budget to do, and what do you think he will do?
Well, I think, we had a good interaction with the finance minister, and I must say he was quite receptive to all the ideas that were put across. Essentially, what we have asked for in the budget is in a couple of broad buckets. The first is that for the small startup companies, it's important that the environment is supportive of these companies. We've seen a rather alarming trend of many of these companies moving out of India the moment they get their first tranche of funding, either because of pressure of the investor or because of the kind of problems that they are facing in operating over here. Those need to be addressed by a regulatory framework which allows that, which makes that functioning easy. The second is that it should make the funding easy. We've seen and pointed out specific examples of how instead of incentivizing investment into startups, which itself is risky, it's actually being taxed, believe it or not. And this in an environment where globally other countries are offering all kinds of benefits to lure Indian startup and Indian investors to come in there. The least we can do is to not tax them or penalize them even before they have started earning any money, or to even worse, to tax the investor before they have actually paid the full investment. The second is, as far as the large industries is concerned, it's not about incentives. The IT industry has a global reach and presence. It's proved its competitiveness globally. But the regulatory system needs to be streamlined. There are areas like, for example, SEZ benefits, how they are availed of or how they are applied, issues relating to transfer pricing, issues relating to aggregation of global income. These are certain things which, if they are streamlined, it simply makes it easy for them not only to do business with certainty, but also, in fact, to offer global income for taxation in India. There's a lot of other things which the government needs to do for the part of digital India outside of digital government. And that is to look at issues like, for example, how e-commerce is taxed. You can't say that we want to become digital India, but by the way, if you transact on the electronic mode, you will be taxed much more than if it is transacted in the digital mode.